Welcome back to Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit. My name is Steven. On yesterday's episode, we were dealing with the big energies of retrograde and talking about what is happening in our universe and what that means to us. For today, it's time to pull some tarot cards. I'm going to set some space, raise some energy, and get some guidance on how to make these retrogrades work for us. Let's go.
I always forget to mention this, and people ask all the time in the feed is which cards I like to use. Now, for my regular practice, I really love the Fountain Tarot. I love the artwork on it. Place that under there a little bit. I really love the artwork on it, the messages that's here. It's a really beautiful deck to work with. I find it very inspiring, and it still uses a lot of the symbols that hold true to the Rider-Waite deck, which is one of the most commonly used. So I really do love it. So if anyone is wondering, the Fountain Tarot, got it in Milan last summer with Candace. It's a lovely experience. So calling your energy into present time, we ask for only the messages that give us energy working towards our highest good. We ask for messages that are divinely timed, that will help aspect us in the right direction over the next coming cycle as we navigate through a planetary retrograde of mass proportions. So the first planet that we are asking about is Pluto. Now again, Pluto is about transformation. It's about, in retrograde, it's always about examining your shadow self. So, our first card is the Ace of Wands. So, the Ace of Wands is a fantastic card. It, for me, often is the spark of a new idea, something brilliant, a new beginning that can't be overlooked. So I would say right now, when it comes to, let me get my pendulum going here. When it comes to the messages with regards to Pluto in retrograde, I would look at ideas within yourself or within your shadow that you have been neglecting, things that you've put on the back burner, maybe because of the direction that your current life is taking you. I would look at the things that you're ignoring in your shadow and how those things are manifesting in the rest of your life. What could your life be like if you listened to what those inner voices were asking from you? So as you move through Pluto's retrograde, that would be a message that I'd be looking at. And just imagine what this world would look like, that by the time we are out of lockdown, what if everyone did the thing that made them feel their life more beautifully, more creatively, more passionately? I feel like this world would be a much better place. All right, our next planet that we're going to be looking at for retrograde is our Saturn. Okay, so we pulled the Seven of Cups. So Saturn is our governing body of, we were talking about how in retrograde, it's the planet where we start looking at the different systems that we have, and we start questioning it, and the things that we always go back to and rely on in our life. And we ask ourselves if they still serve us the same way that they do. Now, the Seven of Cups is the choice card. Even in the artwork, you can see that there are all these choices laid out in front. And sometimes it's very easy to be overwhelmed and not knowing which direction to go. And it can be very easy to stay in that dizzy daydream. But this card reminds us that it is time to make a choice. It is time to be bold. Because if we stay in this stagnant position, then we'll always have what we've always had. There's a lot of medicine there for me too. All right, our next card that we're pulling is for Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the planet that's all about success. It's often about luck. There's a lot of people look to Jupiter for their career advice, and that's sort of where I'm getting pulled. My pendulum's really feeling the energy on that career part. So the 10 of Wands, any 10 is a lot about success. It's about arriving. It's about being there. But the 10 of Wands is a little bit different. When you have gotten to success, you get to a point where there's a lot of repetition, and day in and day out things can look the same. The 10 of Wands asks you to reevaluate and see if there's a smarter way to do what you're doing. Even in the artwork, if you notice, there's always a lot of there's always a figure carrying it all and holding it all together, and that can get very tiring. This card can warn of burnout, but mostly the messages in the 10 of Wands is, like I said, how can you do what you're doing a little smarter? All right, now we're up to Venus. Ooh, okay. The 8 of Wands. Okay, so let's talk about Venus. So Venus, again, is our governing body for love and often for money and prosperity and your relationship with it. When Venus turns to retrograde, generally we have trouble communicating with partners, and there might be some financial issues that go down. These things are very common. I would say that the 8 of Wands, and it's reversed, I should mention. 8 of Wands, when it's upright, is about fast changes. It's about even the smallest sway in the wrong direction could take you off path because of the rapid change that's taking place. When reversed, it means very much the opposite. It can mean lethargy. It can be a lot of stale energy, which could be a lot of cause for conflict in a relationship, especially if you are in a lockdown mode. And of course, if you're more worried about the money right now, when you look at what's happening in our world with our markets, there is a lot of stalemate energy. So this makes a lot of sense. What I'm getting about this card is that it is a reminder that it's a passing phase. And one of the great things about Venus is it's only about a month's time that it spends in retrograde. So I think if you're feeling any of those energies, breathe through it. Everything is going to work out in the end. Okay? That's what I'm getting from here. All right. I'm going to pull a card for the collective. And what a great card it is. Woo! The Magician is one of my favorite cards to pull in any reading. There's a simple message behind the Magician. If you look at the numerology of it, it is a number 1. So it often does deal with beginnings, new starts, sometimes just the beginnings of ideas. But the real medicine behind the Magician, if you look at the symbols on the card, there is a symbol for each of the major elements. This Magician has all the magic that he needs to make his life path take place. And usually when the Magician shows up in a reading, for me, it's as a reminder, and the energy of the pendulum is going. It is to remind the reader that you have all the tools you need to get to your desired outcome. Okay? I want to pull something on outcome as well. Wow. This is why I was supposed to pull that card. The 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is one of the most fortuitous cards in the entire tarot deck, which I would say, based on this whole reading, is just saying we have all the tools, we are going to make it. But the 10 of Cups really examines... I'm going to paint a picture for you. I want you to imagine two people building a life together. And there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot that's taking place in order to be successful. Sort of those small choices along the way, the small sacrifices. But in the end, you have gotten to your desired, most successful outcome. That is the feeling of your Ten of Cups. You've gotten that desired outcome and you're looking back in reverence at the things that you've learned about yourself. I feel like at the end of this cycle, if we can look back and be in that position of appreciation, of accepting the medicine of all of these retrogrades, and even of the things that are happening on our planet, like these lockdowns and a lot of the universal fear consciousness that we feel pushing in from every side. If we can get to the end of this and look back and have gained insight towards our greater spiritual development, or had time to develop the career paths that we're looking for, I think this could be a really beautiful time and a positive time in our development as a collective. Well, that is a beautiful reading, I would say. I really want to thank you all for being here today. Please leave any comments below based on what you heard or saw. And keep in mind, of course, Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit tailors to doing private readings. We also do a lot of healing. Right now we're doing some distance Reiki using virtual healing methods. And we are also doing online celebrations of different moon and Sabbaths. So please reach out. If you haven't already, like us on Instagram and on YouTube, and of course our Facebook page. We are everywhere depending on what your modality is on the internet. Thank you for being here. Namaste.